Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Jeff, back on some more Modern Warfare. You already know what it is. It's October. Probably stylistically my favorite month. Not just because it's my birthday month, but, you know. I like the movies that all come around this time. I don't know, I just like it all. I think these guys like weed. People were asking in yesterday's video, they were watching the gameplay, they were like, dude, why aren't you, like, slide canceling and stuff? Are you dog shit now? What's wrong with you? In truth, I'm just afraid to get used to slide canceling again on this game, and then out of nowhere, I'm gonna have to go back to Modern Warfare 2, where it's likely that it's not going to be good or effective. I don't want to build that habit back up. I mean, obviously I could run around and slide cancel and shit and be all like super sweaty. So there are actually some leaked DMZ challenges out there that came out, I think like a day and a half, 2 days ago or so at this point. I haven't talked about it yet, but basically a lot of people are still very confused on what the DMZ extraction mode is supposed to be. And it's just really difficult to explain it to people that don't really want to look into it. I think that's honestly the truth. I think whenever you tell people that, oh, it's like Escape from Tarkov, they try to maybe look up a video of Tarkov, look up Tarkov explained or some shit like that, but then they see that the video length is whatever and they're in whatever amount of detail. The Tarkov community makes very, very high quality shit. They take their time with it. Not just their game, but like the actual content creators. There's a lot of like high quality stuff that people make in there. Funny videos, serious videos. It's genuinely not that difficult to understand. This version, they're going to probably try to make it more casual. So if you understand Tarkov, we probably already have a pretty good idea of how DMZ is working. So I always felt like the reason people replayed Tarkov itself was because of like the whole market system. That's what makes it feel like everything has value and meaning. But at the same time, I realized maybe you don't have to make people feel like it has value or meaning. I mean, there's ultimately no reward for winning in Warzone other than the victory screen. Then if maybe there's a challenge that's giving you a reward or something, but ultimately all of those rewards are, for lack of a better word, just really not anything special. I don't really know how else to explain that. There's nothing of importance to any of those things that you earn. There's no ranking, there's no intrinsic value. The reason people care about Tarkov and care about getting out alive and everything is because they don't want to lose the items they brought in there, which all actually have monetary value. In-game value, not real life, but there is a market value for items. So you want to stay alive because you have a bunch of items that could be sold on the market in order for you to get more money, in order for you to go and buy an even better loadout for the next time you go in there and want to go and stomp this shit out of people. The more money you have, the better all of your gear and shit is. You might have better armor, you might have a better helmet or something. You can also find special things around the map, like keys and other things like that give you access to higher value areas. And instead of you using the keys, you could sell them, or instead of trying to find the key, you can buy them. There's an entire market to it. Now, will they do that for the Call of Duty fan base, though? Because I would like to think that a Call of Duty player isn't afraid of a market. It's not hard necessarily to understand that you come across things that have value in the game. The reason that you don't want to die is because you will lose them to the person that killed you, or whoever loots your body. Do you know how many different content ideas out there? The amount of interactions you can have where you kill somebody with absolutely nothing versus a dude that is geared. The storylines are great. So if they manage to somehow make it casual to where everybody like wants to replay it. So for example, the challenges that leaked, by the way, were things like collect this amount of money and extract with this amount of money, extract with this amount of weapons, extract with a full inventory. All of those challenges, I assume, are also rewarding you in some way with some sort of in-game currency that allows you to get better stuff the next time you want to go out there. Whether that be attachments, armor, shit, even maybe potentially just cosmetics. I don't know. I don't know how far they're gonna go into this whole thing. Which is why I said it's very interesting that they're trying an extraction type mode, considering how extreme and hardcore it feels over in Tarkov. How do they make a casual extraction game? I know that Tarkov is not the only extraction game in the world, but that's the immediate one that comes to mind for me. If they're not gonna have a market, there's gotta be a reason why people would even care to live in the first place. There's other challenges to go to this area of the map and find this thing over here. Travel to all these different POIs, travel to as many as you possibly can, and then extract. The more that you travel to, the bigger your reward. So it'll be a thing where multiple people have this challenge, and then that's where you, trying to accomplish your mission, run into other people trying to accomplish the same mission, the same objective. So the game directs players into doing things. If you want to complete that objective, you gotta go and put yourself at risk because it's likely that other people are there. So it also results in times where you go and do this objective and nothing happens. Your nerves are going through the roof. You haven't heard a sound at all. You hear little creaks and stuff like that, but you got away with your objective. You're like, man, I can't believe I got out of there scot-free. Every single little sound that you hear is gonna be like this thing where it's like, holy shit. It's just a lot more visceral having one life, which is why I understand why people enjoy the whole like battle royale thing. I'm a respawn guy, and I understand the value in, you know, having the one life thing. I'm just not a fan of the playstyles that it ends up promoting. But again, I can deal with that playstyle that it promotes if there was really never any other standard of aggressive play to begin with within the game. I didn't watch a style get absolutely killed in front of me. That's just how the game has always been. It's like being pissed off that you can't just rush around and beam the shit out of people all the time on Rainbow Six, for example. Sometimes you just gotta play slow. Sometimes it's just what the round calls for. Sometimes it's 1v3. Sometimes instead of immediately opening up as soon as you see somebody, you let them walk past because they haven't seen you so you can kill somebody else type shit. So you can get the jump and drop on multiple people. I don't know, if people were able to find a lot of fun in BR experiences where the win doesn't ultimately mean anything, the win basically just had the value of like a social value of everybody just feeling like, fuck yeah, we got the victory. Man, this thing could kill up to like 30 meters for real. Oh no. Oh, that is unlucky, man. Oh, that's just unlucky, guys. Oh no, why are you walking into it? I don't know how they're gonna give value to it. It's gonna be really, really difficult for them to figure that out. At this point, I'm starting to feel like I don't even understand what people actually want. It's so strange, and it's also getting this like strange mixture of things of like, oh, this game has more players, that means that its design is better, and this thing tends to hold people more often, and all this other shit. It's just, I don't know, it's weird. Like people arguing for skill-based matchmaking and things like that. In the same way that they argue for skill-based matchmaking, they all start talking from like a business savvy standpoint, where they're like, obviously you understand from a business standpoint. If they see that it works better for them as a business, why wouldn't they do it? But that's exactly my point, right? It's sacrificing other parts of the game in return for just a gain in retention by any means necessary. Retention doesn't even mean good game either. People play games they hate all the time for years and years and years that are objectively not good games, yet here we are. Of course I understand skill-based matchmaking is better for the system, but it's not always better for all of the people within that system. The players are virtually not even playing the same games, which causes discourse in the actual communication within our own community between each other. It erodes everybody's perspective on what is actually happening. Speaking about all of these different statistics actively ignores the nuance in our reality. Ultimately, they surely know what to do as a business. If we count player retention as player happiness, I think that sounds pretty great. I just wish that was actually the real case. That's like implying that your job is fucking awesome because they make you work 60 hours a week and you show up. Also, there's a UFC card on tonight. Not a super big one. I mean, for women's strawweight, it's kind of important with Mackenzie Dern and Yan Xiaonan. There's also Randy Brown who's fighting on the card who seems really, really dangerous. He's over there somewhere. Yan Xiaonan definitely has the better striking than Mackenzie Dern. I don't see how Xiaonan could actually like manage to knock her out or hurt her enough to make it so like the grappling exchanges don't go pretty badly. I think Mackenzie has a big advantage in the grappling and Xiaonan has the advantage in the stand-up, but I don't think Xiaonan has ever actually even knocked anybody out cold. She does have a couple TKOs and knockouts, but they were back in like 2015 and none of them happened in the UFC. Every win she has in the UFC is a decision. Well fought, she won them, but in terms of knockout power, even with having the advantage there, I mean, Mackenzie's just smarter than that. She's just not going to strike with her. She's just going to end up grappling with her, and I just don't see how Xiaonan could even just stop her from doing that. If Mackenzie wants to grapple with her, she just will. Sure, she could try to, like, prevent takedowns and things like that, you know? Try to keep it standing and everything, the typical, but that's way easier said than done. Even just being tied up and, like, clinched with enough prevents you from even throwing hands, so, dude, I cannot wait for these people to just get absolutely slaughtered on Modern Warfare 2. It's not a surprise that when we get Shipment, literally a map with virtually nothing on it, they do much worse than on these maps. I don't mean to sit here and genuinely hold these flags like this. I'd love to push into your spawns, but you guys are just actively and okay with sitting in there. Whenever they just get to the point to where they just get tired of like trying to push and they just kind of like give up a little bit, there's no reason to push into their spawn anymore because now they're just waiting for it. Come and get your flag. I mean, stay inside then. You suck. If you stayed inside in real life as much as you did in game, you might be better at this. I'm definitely picking Randy Brown and Mackenzie Dern. Randy Brown is just gonna be way too big for Francisco Trinaldo. Trinaldo's a strong guy, tough dude, don't get me wrong, but Randy is that and way more. Unless some freak shit happens, and even then Randy's able to get through it. Randy Brown had a point in time where he front kicked somebody in the face, and he literally broke his toe, where he had to literally step on his toe with his other foot to keep his big toe in place. It's gross, I know, sorry. But yeah, no, there's no way. It doesn't matter. He doesn't care. Listen, size isn't everything. We should know this, obviously, just from watching any amount of fights. We're talking 6'3" versus 5'9", 8-inch reach advantage with a guy that is a physical specimen. Like, maybe if Trinaldo was kind of like Yoel Romero or something, where it doesn't matter. There was a guy that yesterday, he was like, man, if you sit there and play Call of Duty every single day, you gotta be miserable. I make videos on it, and I will play it, you know, pretty often, but just because you see it every single day on my channel doesn't mean that that's what I'm playing all day or some shit. Like, what I've been doing recently, I've been playing Cyberpunk again, because I realistically didn't even get very far into the game. I think I got up to, like, I was like level 4 or something, and I only did like a couple missions. I've been hearing a lot of good things recently, and like I said, back when the game came out, a lot of people were calling me a shill for saying it, but I was like, dude, ultimately, the game can only get better from here. I said we'll probably have a pretty playable game in a couple years or something. And here we are. Got in a few hours yesterday, and I didn't experience any, like, crashing or, like, not playable thing. Like, I could access everything that I've ever needed to. Given I don't necessarily know exactly what I'm doing, but I'm starting missions and gigs and buying things and crafting things and all sorts of other stuff, and I haven't had a single problem. I also had the bright idea to try to run everything on max settings. Dude, I get like 30 FPS with like full ray tracing, full textures up, everything. Every single effect on, I literally get like 30 FPS. It's insane. That's 30 FPS. In the room that I was in, it was 30 FPS, not even in like a high traffic area. That little room just showed off a bunch of reflections and stuff like that, so I was messing around with it because there's like psycho settings that are ridiculous. There's ray traced lighting effects. It's not just ray traced shadows, it's ray traced lighting, ray traced fog, like, it's so fucked. Also, besides Cyberpunk, inevitably Diablo. Also, anybody over at the developer team over at Diablo that are sending out keys, please send me a key. I'm currently over Paragon 1000 right now. I have 3 different fully geared characters in this season alone. GR 120 plus. I'm not the top of the top, but I play a good amount. Please send me an invite. I want to play. Thank you. DMZ is supposed to be dropping with Warzone and everything, so I can't help but feel DMZ is going to get a little... How do I explain this? I feel like it's going to be a little overshadowed by things. I feel like if we're looking at a bunch of different polls, I feel like more people are even more interested in multiplayer than they are in DMZ, which says a lot. But at the same time, we haven't gotten a full reveal on what DMZ truly is. We know what an extraction mode is, but we don't necessarily know what a Call of Duty extraction mode looks like. It could be a flop, a complete flop, or it could be the start of a new era.